I think that she actually appointed you, Tim? And think of it, appointed, and you're the senator of his state, and she endorsed me. You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
No, that's why he's a great politician.
In yet another chapter of grown men debasing themselves and turning on their friends in order to ingratiate themselves with Donald Trump as he humiliates them in real time, Tim Scott makes it abundantly clear that he wants that VP spot. So he has thrown his friend, Nikki Haley, someone who he actually shares a political ideology with, under the bus in an effort to make Donald Trump happy. Now, for the past few weeks, Trump's team is basically aiming to paint Nikki Haley as disliked by the people who would theoretically know her best in her home state, people like Tim Scott. And so keep in mind, by the way, that Tim Scott was treated really well by Nikki Haley. And politically speaking, they do share similarities in their political views. They're both pretty much traditional conservative Republicans. But Tim Scott is now kind of trying to rebrand himself in order to increase his chances of getting chosen as Trump's VP pick. Now, in 2012, for instance, Nikki Haley appointed a vacant Senate seat in South Carolina to Tim Scott. But apparently that previous relationship with her and the favors she did for him don't matter at all. Let's watch.
I am looking forward to bringing this race for Donald Trump to be our next president to my home state of South Carolina, so the race can be over and we can focus on firing.
Was it uncomfortable up there? Like, Nikki Haley's your buddy. I mean, if these things get uncomfortable, you're sitting up there and he's pretty tough on her last night. I mean, it was pretty tough, the dress, and all. I probably wouldn't have recommended that he go after the dress, but I mean, that's Trump. You never know. He's gonna be, yeah. But was it uncomfortable for you because of your friendship with her?
Listen, she served our state well as a conservative governor. She has decided to be a moderate Republican presidential candidate.
She says she's not a globalist.
Well, I can tell you one thing. When you're not willing to say unequivocally, I will protect Social Security for every single senior citizen on it today.
They say it's just the 20-year-olds. It's just the 20-year-olds that are going to have an adjustment with the age.
You gotta watch the plan. Watch the plan.
God, I hate politics so much. And this is so embarrassing and so dirty.
Yeah. So first off, guys, the personal betrayal it's
so bad.
It's unbelievable. Like, it's not in my nature.
Me either.
And but for politicians, they don't even think twice about it. So I want you to understand the import of her appointing him to be the senator, because not only does he just automatically become senator without an election, Jim DeMint had stepped down at the time, and the governor gets to appoint in South Carolina. But that means he has an enormous advantage as an incumbent going forward. That means he's going to be probably senator for life under this system. And she just gifted it to him. So he owes everything to Nikki Haley. But he's like, oh, it's a new day though. And all of those old past favors, I don't care at all because I'm a terrible human being. I mean, I'm a Christian, right? And he throws his friend under a bus just to grovel to Trump. And
then Trump humiliates him.
Of course,
okay?
That's what he always does.
I want to just go to a quick video, because after Tim Scott had announced that he was engaged to be married to a woman, here's how Trump talked about it publicly.
Today was a big story, the biggest story out there. He's engaged to be married. We never thought this was going to happen. What's going on?
You can make of that what you will.
No, I'll tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, he said, we never thought it was gonna happen. Why? Because there's rumors that Tim Scott's gay. So, like, that's the very last thing you should be talking about when he just endorsed you. But he can't help it. Trump loves to rub it in. And it's not just a thing that he can't help it. For us on the left, we find it disgusting that these guys grovel to him and that he makes them grovel and he humiliates them. That really bothers us, right, as human beings. But for some people on the right, they think that that's cool, good,
no,
positive.
They see it as strength.
Exactly.
That's what they like about Trump and respect about Trump. They see him as a strong person.
They view him as an alpha.
Yes.
And so that's an alpha treating the betas as betas. And so when he does that, that makes me physically uncomfortable. But for a right winger, they're like, attaboy, that's how you bully people and you rub their face in it. And I think that there's something wrong with that.
Well, hold on.
But I'm not a right winger.
Let's be specific, because I personally find strong men, strong people attractive and desirable. The difference between what I'm talking about and what Trump represents is that Trump likes to be a bully.
Yeah.
And he's a bully to people who reach out to him. I mean, look, Tim Scott is obviously in this and is engaging in this for his own political purposes. But even if someone is good to Trump, he doesn't care. Like, he will throw them under the bus, or he will say humiliating things about them publicly. And so that bullying component of it is what disgusts us. But in terms of strength, I also love strength.
Of course. Okay, so look, guys, they're making the mistake of conflating bullying with strength, when in reality, bullies are usually weak and insecure and thin-skinned.
100%.
And you see that with Trump every day. I mean, even the slightest little thing will set him off to no end because he's thin-skinned and an insecure little bitch. So he's a kiss up, kick down kind of guy. And so we think, well, no, Trump doesn't kiss up to anyone. That's not true at all. When someone is richer than him, he gets into pucker mode. So with Steve Wynn, I remember covering this story back in the 2016 race. He had invited Steve Wynn to a party, and he kept going around and telling everybody, Steve Wynn's gonna show up. I told Steve Wynn's gonna come for me. Steve Wynn, why? Because Steve Wynn's an actual successful billionaire casino mogul, and that's what Donald Trump wanted to be, but couldn't because he's a loser, right?
Didn't his casinos in Atlantic City do well?
Who, Trump's?
Yeah.
No, they all went bankrupt.
Oh.
Okay, I mean, the House always wins unless it's Donald Trump because he's a moron. So, and I've countless stories, whenever there's a Carl Icahn, etc., someone richer than him, he's like, okay. But whenever somebody he thinks is lower than him, he starts kicking them and kicking them. That's what a vicious, stupid person does. But I'm sorry, right wingers, but a lot of you love that. I think that's like the worst thing you could say about a person. But you guys don't, it reminds me of like, and this is funny because Biff in Back to the Future was modeled on Donald Trump. Donald Trump's been around forever, even back when he was just a real estate guy in media. But why did Biff exist? That character, that archetype in American movies and TV shows of the bully exists because it existed in real life. And what would happen is the bully would bully the weak kid, and then he'd have his sycophants around him that would laugh and go, yeah, big guy, way to go, Biff. And that's the Trump voter, and that's super sad. Sorry, but that's the reality for a lot of you guys.
It's a portion of Trump voters.
It is, but the portion that watches that and goes, right? That's that portion. So
I mean, we're kind of saying ha because look, it takes two to tango. So Tim Scott is in it. Right, he's in it for himself, and he's embarrassing himself.
No,
in a quest
to
for power.
Tim Scott. I got no issue. Remember, in a bully though, you don't pick the guy who's already trying to kiss your ass, or maybe sometimes the bullies do, right? But in a normal bully situation, they're just picking on the kid that they think is weak, right? Because of course you don't want to pick on someone strong, because the bullies are, remember, super weak inside, super insecure inside. That's Trump 101. So anyways, last thing is, back in 2016, he also did this because that's what he does all the time. So I want to go to the last video with Chris Christie from back in the day to give you a sense of the pattern of Donald Trump. Let's watch.
We're gonna make great deals for our country. Might be free, might not be free. I can tell you this, when Carrier and Ford and Nabisco leaving Chicago with their big plant, they're moving to Mexico. I'm not eating Oreos anymore, you know that. But neither is Chris. You're not eating Oreos anymore. No more Oreos for either of us, Chris. Don't feel bad for either of us. But I'll tell you what, folks, there's gotta be consequences. When they move, there's gotta be consequences.
Chris Christie sat there and took all those fat jokes over and over again. And that was just one example. He did it many, many times. And then later when he didn't get the VP slot that he wanted, and Tim, you didn't see that movie, right? And then he wanted other slots in the cabinet he didn't get. And so then he finally, Chris Christie became a tough guy in this race and started saying things about Donald Trump, but he was kissing his ass for all that time too, right? Ugh. So Tim, that's the future you have to look forward to.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a Young Turk.